All right, looks like we're good to go. Got as many people as we can joined, and we're going ahead and get started here. All right, thanks for joining. Welcome back once again. My name is Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office located in Slidell, Louisiana. We're going to go ahead and just talk about with the latest with what we've been seeing with the tropics here. Talk about maybe some changes that we've seen here in the past 24 hours. If you didn't catch our Facebook Live we did yesterday, we're going to go through everything you need to know about this active weather pattern that we have coming up starting Friday. And unfortunately, it's going to be going through Father's Day weekend as well. So we're going to talk about everything you need to know, latest updates, things that have changed from yesterday, and again, the impacts that we'll be seeing coming up here soon. So just like how I always like to start these out is I like to talk about what's going on outside the front door. We'll go ahead and do that right now here, showing you a current radar imagery outside the area. Not that bad. We had definitely a little bit more activity on radar yesterday around this time. The only thing that we have really is just some showers off southeast Louisiana, but generally speaking, it'll be a really nice evening. If you're not on Twitter, you didn't see a Twitter post earlier talking about there's actually a stationary boundary that's draped right across, basically along I-10-12 right now, which is putting a boundary between the really muggy air mass to the south across the South Shore and a little bit drier conditions towards the north. I'm sure for a lot of people, like for Covington to Baton Rouge to Hammond, actually really noticed the sun was really bright today, and it was really bright blue skies. So it was a little bit drier, actually. I did a little analysis to kind of show you where that stationary front was located here. This is about an hour or two ago. And actually is being picked up on radar because we can see these boundaries on radar due to air density differences. As there's different density characteristics with air mass with more humidity, more moisture versus less that's drier. So we sometimes can see those boundaries when these air masses collide like that. We actually had this boundary set up across, generally across the North Shore with a lot drier air, really nice air up north to a very humid air down south. So generally speaking, for the rest of this evening, we're not going to see any type of showers and storms other than what you see right there, which should be fading through time with pretty mostly dry conditions going through the rest of tonight. So this is the big story right here is going to be the tropics. And we're going to talk about that here coming up right now with the latest from the National Hurricane Center as of 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And there you have it. This is it. What we've been talking about here now is that tropical disturbance across the southwestern portions of the Gulf of Mexico, or where we like to say the Bay of Campeche, right there just west of the Yucatan Peninsula. Around there is where we're seeing a tropical disturbance. Is pretty much not that organized right now. However, confidence continues to increase that we will see slow and steady development as the system drapes up towards the north. So right now we're calling for an 80% chance of development. That's an 8 out of 10 chance over the next 2 days as the system continues up towards the north. So before I go into the specific impacts, let me show you what it looks like on infrared satellite imagery. I showed this yesterday. This is basically just satellite imagery from a geostationary satellite showing you cloud top temperatures. And as you go further up aloft in the atmosphere, the colder it gets. And when these clouds grow really tall, they get really cold. So the brighter the color, the colder the cloud top, which is a good indication of deep convection or thunderstorm activity. So you see there's a lot of thunderstorm activity on the Yucatan area there, the peninsula right there, the kind of the bottom center portion of the screen. The whole center here is focused on the Gulf of Mexico. So Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, coastal Alabama, Mississippi is up there towards the top part of the screen. So really the center of circulation, see if you can maybe kind of pick my mouse there where I'm blinking, it's about around this region. And the showers and thunderstorms are kind of disorganized, kind of detached from that circulation, which makes sense given the atmospheric profile right now. But what's going to happen is that we're going to see slow and steady development as it moves up towards the north. As far as what we know, too, from the latest National Hurricane Center discussion, they will be sending a reconnaissance aircraft into the system tomorrow to investigate it, to see if maybe if there is a closed center trying to close off a little bit. But for now, we're going to have to kind of wait on that. That'll be tomorrow. Talk about later tomorrow, going into maybe late tomorrow into Friday. That's where we're going to start to see the system move a little bit further north. And latest computer model guidance has really been relatively disorganized with the system. We're not seeing this, meaning the likelihood of this exploding into a major hurricane or anything like that is very low right now, extremely low if that actually. So what we're going to be anticipating is slow strengthening, slow organization, where it could become actually a tropical depression at some point late Thursday going into early Friday. And then from there, A lot remains to be seen because, like I said, there is going to be slow and steady organization with it. But regardless of that, that's not what we want to focus on. We do not want you to focus on the exact track because I know there's been a lot of people out there showing you what's called spaghetti plots of models, showing you different model solutions where it may or may not be going. But really, we don't want you to pay attention to that exact position, the center of it, because with these weak and disorganized systems, impacts usually are felt a lot further away from the center of the system. So let's go ahead and go back and start talking about those specific impacts like I just mentioned. And number one thing to speak about here is going to be the forecast rainfall for this event. We're expecting widespread rain with this. What you see there is the total forecast. That's the total rainfall expected between starting tomorrow all the way through early Tuesday, June 22nd. So this isn't all going to fall at once. This is a rainfall totals because we're going to have rainbow all day, starting on Friday, lasting through Saturday and Sunday, and could even extend into Monday and Tuesday as well. So this is a total. When we're talking about a total average like this, we could have locally higher amounts, so be aware of that. That could be a concern as well, especially since we're going to be on the eastern side of the system more than likely if it makes landfall towards the west. Since we're on the eastern side of the system and these systems rotate that counterclockwise or cyclonic motion, we get that southerly flow, and we're going to get these bands of heavy rain coming across the area. Now, again, I wanted to kind of show you a little bit more specifics too, kind of like what I've been showing a lot here with these Facebook Lives, showing some model guidance. I don't want to really get into the in-depth model analysis part of it. That's for us to do here in operations, but I do want to kind of show you some of the things that we're kind of getting a little bit more of a clearer picture, kind of a clear resolvement of what we may be seeing here. And one I wanted to show you is with some high resolution model guidance that's going to be predicting what the radar is going to look like hour by hour in advance. And as we go ahead, so we're going ahead with time here. As I loop it, we're going ahead in the future. Every time you see it change, that's a new hour. So as I loop ahead in time, you see that really, as we go through, now we're through tonight right now. This is tonight. Really not seeing much. Maybe some coastal showers, but as we get it towards the day on Thursday, not much, but we're going to see a lot of showers and thunderstorms develop all across central Gulf of Mexico as the system starts to try and wrap up a little bit more. And we get a little bit better atmospheric conditions that are favorable for widespread rain. But we go ahead with time. First of all, the day tomorrow is actually looking like a pretty nice day. We'll talk about more about that here in just one quick second. But going in through, however, as you go through Friday, however, you see all of that rain I just talked about across the central Gulf all comes straight north. And it all comes across the northern Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to stop right there at 1 p.m. on Friday. That's when we start to have the heaviest rain pretty much approach across southeast Louisiana. Some model guidance actually has shown maybe this could be more of a light band of intense rainfall that may come up, or what we call a feeder band that kind of gets accelerated northward way ahead of the circulation, which sometimes that can happen. So be aware of that as well. We may have some locally gusty winds associated with those, and maybe even some isolated tornadoes. So the onset of this is going to begin Friday afternoon through Friday evening, and it's going to be just on and off rain all through Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to show you another model which pretty much shows the exact same thing I said before, but this is more just 3-hour precipitation total. So this is how much rain is falling in that 3 hours. The brighter the color, a lot more rain is falling at that time frame. So as we go up here, coming up towards late, now right here we're around 7 p.m. Friday. It shows that area of very heavy rain come across southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, where we're concerned about the potential for flooding. And as that system likely continues off towards our west but north, we get that really strong southerly fetch coming to our area, and we're going to continue to see these bands, and they could be training bands across the area going all through Saturday night, and now we're going through late Saturday, and even on Sunday we could still have some lingering bands back behind, which could be training over the same areas, producing even heavier locally heavier amounts of rainfall, leading to flash flooding concerns. So this is the focus we're looking at, and the focus that we're really kind of paying attention to here is going to be the heavy rain potential. Be aware we may have flash flood watches in effect as we go ahead with time. Just be aware we may have some watches coming out if we want to make sure we message as best we can coming ahead. But just be aware for right now, if we could try and single out a little bit of a higher chance for some of the higher rainfall totals, it's going to be generally maybe east of Baton Rouge, but we don't want to get that specific just yet, though, because we're saying 3 to 4 inches for Baton Rouge as an average. You could see locally higher amounts, maybe up to double from what you're seeing right there for the whole time span in this event. So just be aware of that. If you live in flood-prone locations, if you typically see flooding, this is something you definitely need to pay attention to. We'll be passing along if there's watches to come here shortly. So now when the system's going to try and develop, it's going to be a slow developer, of course. It may become a depression right off the bat. If it does, it's got to reach that threshold of 38 mile per hour sustained winds and a closed circulation, which they'll identify this when they go out with their airplane tomorrow. For it to reach a tropical storm, it's got to go over that. So we're talking about it's got to go 39 miles per hour higher. We're not really anticipating, some of the intensity models that we've been seeing is not really pinging on this thing to become a hurricane. It's just the atmospheric conditions are not that right. We have a lot of dry air that may be wrapped around the circulation. But these are some of the key definitions here as we go ahead, now that this is the first system that we're dealing with in the Gulf that has the chance to threaten portions of the northern Gulf, that some of these are the typical definitions that we see here. So I bounce off of that graphic with this one because it's very important to say this, that even though we're saying it's not going to be a hurricane, it doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. They could be very dangerous. If you remember Tropical Storm Allison back in the early 2000s, it was a very slow-moving tropical storm that hit Texas and then draped across the northern Gulf. It dropped copious amounts of rainfall and caused significant life-threatening flash flooding, and that was just a depression, or what was left of the storm, that was coming across the northern Gulf. So we can still see significant impacts, so don't let your guard down if this is not a hurricane. It could still be a tropical storm or depression when it makes landfall, and we can still see some impacts way far away or way east of the forecast center. So speaking of the fact that we're east of the center is where we typically see these potential for isolated tornadoes. We are under a marginal risk or a 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather Friday through early Saturday for that initial band that I showed you coming up from the south. We may see some quick spin-up tornadoes. So while this is not the most substantial risk of what we're going to be seeing from the system, it is a risk, and we want to make sure that you are aware of it. Just make sure that you have a reliable source of weather information, NOAA weather radio, wireless emergency alerts on your phone. If you're under a tornado warning, please take it seriously. These are going to be quick spinning, spin-up weak tornadoes. They're very hard to detect on radar, and they can cause damage. And they can be life-threatening. So take these warnings seriously. If you happen to get a tornado warning, please take them seriously. So I have a plan, talking about how tomorrow's a relatively nice day. It's going to be actually very nice. Today was a nice day. This is the time to make sure that you have your plan in place. I know with the Hurricane Preparedness Week that we did not too long ago, I know hurricane season just started a couple weeks ago. Hopefully you have a plan ready to go. Just make sure you have everything that's ready. Just make sure you have a kit. Check on family members. If you have families and friends that are in vulnerable locations across the northern Gulf, give them a call. Let them know what's going on, and just let them know what's going on with the latest updates from the system. Emergency supply kit, everything here, and you'll be good to go. Just something to make sure you have. If you already have this kit and you haven't checked on it and updated it, again, now's the time to do that coming up. And then I love this checklist here. I show this pretty much every time. You screenshot this, print it off, do whatever you want. It is available online too. Just something to kind of make sure that your kit is full and ready to go. And now even going beyond this, we're talking about what's going to be like as we go through Father's Day on Sunday and even Monday and Tuesday. Unfortunately, as we've been advertising before, that storms may actually continue into Monday and Tuesday as we have a cold front coming closer towards our area. We may have that really rich Gulf air mass left behind the system when it passes, and we'll have that enhancement of showers and storms on the backside of the system Monday and on Tuesday. Now, it won't be an all-day washout Monday and Tuesday. It's just going to be an enhancement in afternoon showers and storms. It's going to be Friday going into Saturday and portions of Sunday is where we're going to be seeing some of that heaviest rainfall. And here too for Gulfport and Macomb, same deal there. But again, the whole point here is I want to show you that tonight going into tomorrow, that's the driest day and the best day to just make sure that you have a good plan and that is ready to go. Now I wanted to show you one quick other thing too here to see if I can kind of jump over back where I was. People who are susceptible to river flooding, I wanted to kind of bring that up, that you can check out the latest river forecast online. And what I'm going to do here and show you that this is the website. I'm going to show you a way to do that here real quick. And I'm going to link this. I can say out the hyperlink, but there's no way people will actually understand what I'm saying here. But if I'm going to show you that this is the website that you go to if you want to check the latest river stage observations and forecasts. So what I'm going to do real quick, I know this is kind of off the scenes here, behind the scenes. I'm going to post that in chat there. So you're probably, sorry, you may be seeing what I'm showing here real quick, but there we go. We're going to kind of jump back. I just posted the link right there of where you can access this information. So again, I didn't want to have to say this link, but just click this and it'll show you if you're in an area where you may see river flooding. Check back on this website at all times. We're going to be the River Forecast Center, who we're co-located with here at the Weather Service Office in Slidell. They're constantly going to be updating these forecasts. Just find the river closest to your area. Just make sure that you see this tab here. This is on river observation, and you hit this tab, go to river forecast. And this will show you the forecast across the area, and say that if you want to know the latest stage for the Pearl River near Bogalusa, boom, there you go. There's your latest graph showing you where it's going to actually be coming up. Now, for this event, I wanted to kind of let people know, too, that for right now, there's only 24 hours of quantitative precipitation forecasts involved in these forecasts, but that could change going up to 48 hours. With this storm system, we're expecting that there could be some minor flooding along some isolated rivers. We're talking about the flashy ones, like the Pearl River, the Boca Chica, and the Tangi. They may be getting to moderate. Also, minor flooding for the Gulf drainages as well. Now, people who are comparing this to the flooding that we've seen in previous big flooding events like we had back in the spring, we're not expecting this to be a record-breaking flood event or anything compared to what we saw last spring. Just be aware of that as well. Let's see if I can kind of go back here, back where I was just talking to you here. Just want to kind of talk a little bit more about the rivers. Just check back with the latest forecast. Be aware that we may have some coastal flooding inundation issues as well with that strong southerly fetch and flow on the east side of the system. We're talking right now inundation around between 1 to 3 feet, which could cause some inundation issues. So if you or you have family and friends who live in areas that typically see flooding due to higher than normal tides, make sure you really check the forecast in case maybe you need to move to somewhere else, maybe of some higher ground. But we'll pass along if we need to do coastal flood watches or warnings when that becomes necessary and when the confidence in the forecast increases here coming up here in the next few days. So that's generally it. Again, widespread heavy rain is going to be the big deal here beginning Friday afternoon, lasting through Saturday and on Sunday. And then an enhanced chance of rain continues Monday and even into Tuesday. Widespread flash flooding issues is going to be the main risk here Friday through Sunday. We may be having flash flood watches, so pay attention to those. Isolated tornadoes are also a risk generally east of the center beginning on Friday as well, going into the day on Saturday. Minor coastal flooding inundation issues is a concern as well, and maybe some rivers could be, especially some flashy rivers that typically respond faster to heavy rainfall, maybe having some localized flooding concerns there as well. So that's generally it. That's it in a nutshell. We're going to be constantly updating you with the latest information for the National Hurricane Center when it comes. We'll be posting along updates. If we go under watches, we'll be posting on our website. And we'll promise to do some more Facebook Lives here coming up here in the next few days prior to the system coming up here. So again, have those preparations and have everything you need to have done by tomorrow, as we'll have a very wet pattern coming up this weekend. And we'll end it there. So thank you so much for joining. Again, we'll try and do one again either during the day tomorrow or around the same time tomorrow evening. We'll pass along latest information when it comes across. So again, thank you so much for joining and take care. Thanks.